Today, Kevin and I are going to be making some Carolina barbecued pork. This recipe is from, it is a Crock-Pot. It is actually from the Sunbeam Crock-Pot. If you bought it back in 2008, this is the book you got with your Sunbeam Crock-Pot. And I got a bunch of recipes from Half Price Books, and this was in the recipe books that I got, and this sounded really good. Kevin and I like barbecue pork, so we're gonna give this a try. So you need, it says you need 2 onions quartered, you need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of salt, a ½ teaspoon of pepper. You need a 4 to 6 pound boneless pork butt or shoulder roast. This is a pork butt.
And this one has a bone in, but it'll work.
It'll work, yeah. That we could only get the bone in. Yeah, that's all. That's the only thing they had. You need 3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1½ teaspoons of crushed red pepper flakes, 1½ teaspoons of sugar, ½ teaspoon of dry mustard, ½ teaspoon of garlic salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and then you need some hamburger buns, which I'll show you the hamburger buns at the end. They're just hamburger buns. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put my onions in the crock pot, and then I'm going to open my pork butt and I'm going to put it in this big bowl. We are going to take our brown sugar, paprika, salt, and pepper, and we're going to combine those together in a bowl. The reason I measured it out in separate bowls is just for you to have a visual for this recipe video. So when you're making this at your house, you can go ahead and put it in the same bowl and dirty up less dishes. But I get the fun of doing all the dishes after this. So we're going to combine this together. And then I'm going to rub this. We actually have a bigger bowl than this. I should have used it, but it's a great big orange plastic bowl that we've had like for 30 years. And so I wanted to use a nicer bowl for the video. So, but normally we would probably use that bowl just because it's bigger, it's wider at the top. So you want to, I took my wedding rings off, and I'm just going to rub this all over this roast. And I do have my onions in the crock pot, and I always cook, that piece fell off. I always cook everything in the crock pot on high. That's just how I do it. And so I've already got it turned on high and ready to go. So now we're going to take this whole thing, put it on top of our onions in the crock pot. And I'm going to just, this little piece that came off, I'm just going to sop up all the rest of this stuff in here and just throw it in there. And I'll let Kevin cover it because my hands are filthy. Now we're going to take the rest of our ingredients, and I'm just going to add them to this measuring cup and put them in here and stir them together. I feel like we're doing a science experiment.
Well, if it doesn't explode.
Okay, and I have a fork here. Just going to stir this together. So I'm going to pour half of this over the roast, and then I'm going to take the other half of it. That looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, I doubt we'll use a lot of that afterwards anyway.
I know, that's why I'm kind of putting a little bit more than I'm supposed to. Okay. Now you want to cover, and it says if you're going to cook it on low, then you want to cook it for 10 hours, or on high for 6 hours. So I'm going to let this sit here for 6 hours, and the rest of this is going to go in the refrigerator, and I'm going to cover it in the refrigerator until we're ready to use it. So this has been cooking for about what? It's a long time.
5.5, 6 hours?
5.5 or 6 hours. I did turn it over once, so just know that. I just grabbed it with this big fork, and I literally flipped it over and put it back. But you can see all the juice
That's all from just that roast and that little bit of that mixture we put in.
Yeah, I haven't added any more to this at all. So I am actually going to grab another fork because this is very heavy. I got another fork. Oh, goodness. This is literally falling apart. Which is, I mean, that's how you want it, right? Okay, so should I try to pull some of that off the bone? Maybe it'll be easier to pick it up out of here if I do that. That is literally falling apart. Okay. Oh, don't make a mess.
Don't splatter me.
Don't splatter you. Okay, I'm going to sit it here for just a second and let some of that juice run off.
Looks like a pug belly.
Don't say that. Okay, and I'm going to move it over to my cutting board quickly. There we go.
That works.
Yeah, very quickly. And I'm going to get the other piece out.
It's amazing how much juice that roast makes.
Yes, that's...
That pork butt or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off too because we're going to be moving. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, once I get this out of here, I have a colander set up in the sink and I'm going to drain all of this into the colander. And I'm going to keep the onion. So the cookbook did say to cut up the onions. I've drained them from that juice. And I didn't know if we would need to or not. And Kevin would like smaller pieces of onion.
Well, pretty good size hunks.
And it'll go further as well. It'll go a lot further if it's smaller. And so he's going to cut this up. And then he's going to put this back in the crock pot. Just so we don't have to dirty another a dish. So this is basically, once he shreds it and we stir it all together, it's basically ready to go on your bun. But I don't want to dirty, there's no point in dirtying another bowl. If you do want to take it to the table and serve it, you could of course put it in a serving dish if you want. But for us, we're just going to put it right back in the crock pot and serve ourselves from the crock pot. Shredded the pork, and so now he's going to stir it together because the onions are all on the bottom. So he's going to stir that up the best he can. Now, they did have you reserve that juice in the refrigerator. We will probably not use this juice. We won't use it at all. We'll probably end up just throwing it away, and it's not that much anyway, because we would rather, this is just for a sauce. We would rather, if we want to add something, add barbecue sauce than add this sauce to it. So we do have our buns, and these are the Ballpark brand buns. This is what they look like, Ballpark burger buns. And so, ooh, I see some of those big pieces of onion now. So Kevin's just gonna prepare his.
Now, if you put your buns like we got them, you always know which one's the bottom.
Yes. I'm sure most people do it that way, don't you think?
I don't know. I didn't used to do it that way.
You know what would be good on these two? Of course, this is just the recipe for the slow cooker, so they're not giving you anything extra, any other extra for the recipe. But coleslaw would be good on the sandwich to add some crunch.
Yeah, you could do that.
So the last thing it says chop or shred the meat and chop the onions. Serve the meat and onions on buns. Use the remaining vinegar mixture to drizzle over the sandwiches. There's no way I would do that because
it's very strong smell.
Yes, it's a very strong, that apple cider vinegar is a very strong vinegar smell, and I just wouldn't do that. However, if this needs some jazzing up, which usually we do put barbecue sauce on our pulled pork, we will add some barbecue sauce to this. But we're going to try it the way the recipe has you making it.
Minus the juice.
Minus the juice. Well, it was cooked in the juice.
Yeah, that thick in the juice.
That meat is so tender.
Oh, yeah. And I got a bite that had a bunch of onions on it, and you get the onions. There's a little kick of pepper in there, too. Like the peppers.
I haven't gotten that. I really like that.
It's good. I've never made mine. I've made pulled pork before, but I've always done it in the oven. I've never done it in the Crock-Pot.
I thought we had done it once in the Crock-Pot. Have we not?
I don't think so.
Huh, okay. No,
I mean, maybe I have. I don't remember doing it in a Crock-Pot.
No, I believe you. I couldn't remember. It seemed like one time we made it in the Crock-Pot and had Ander in them over. Out of the Crock-Pot.
Maybe. I may have just put it in the Crock-Pot too.
Ago.
I don't know, just to keep it warm.
Oh,
that's the bad thing about this stuff is once you shredded it, it gets cool quick. So you'd have to heat it up somehow.
Mm-hmm. You know, I hate to be this person, but I think it's delicious. I love it. I would eat this all the time. But for all the seasonings and all that, those spices that we put in here, the Worcestershire sauce, all that, I honestly don't taste any of it.
I get the peppers here and there, just that little heat on my tongue, but not a lot. Try some barbecue sauce. Because you still get the flavor.
But then all you're going to taste is barbecue.
No, well, I didn't put that much on there. I still taste the meat and the sauce.
I love the onion.
The onion's really good.
But I'm not tasting it anyway, really. There's a little, just a little bit of a heat. Just a teeny, just a teeny tiny bit of heat. But not much. But you know we like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet being the word.
Yeah, you know we like that.
Is that the original?
Yeah, oh yeah, this isn't
just the original.
Yeah, this isn't the sugar-free version.
Well, now they have other flavors too. They have like a hickory smoke and all kinds of stuff. Whatever. I don't know what flavors they are, but they have a bunch. It's good, isn't it? Well, I do have to say, I don't know if it's the cut of meat or the Crock-Pot or all that juice or what, but it's super tender. It's probably more tender than what I make in the oven, honestly.
Yes, it was, I mean, you saw it, me pulling it out. It was just falling apart.
Well, when I was shredding it, it was pulling right apart. I mean, I could, if it wasn't so daggone hot, I probably could have done it with my fingers, you know? That's how soft it was. So it's really good. I like it.
I think it's delicious.
I'm agree with you though. It's a lot of spices for, it doesn't seem like there's a big payoff in the spice. I think just adding the onion to it is more important than anything.
When I make a roast in the Crock-Pot, I literally put the roast in the Crock-Pot and turn it on. I don't put anything in there. Sometimes, if I think about it, I will cut up an onion and I'll put the onion in there with it. So it's roast and onion. And it makes all its own juices. I don't add any juice. So like this, we added that apple cider vinegar. To my roast, I don't add any at all. Even if I make a pork roast, I don't add any. And it has so much of its own juice.
But you saw how much juice it created.
Yeah, it creates so much of its own juice. You don't have to add anything to it. But I'm just saying, it tastes just as good, and I don't use any spices. None. No seasoning whatsoever.
No. With the exception of that little bit of heat you get every once in a while.
You really don't get any of those spices.
Those pepper flakes is what does that. And anytime I ever use those the red pepper flakes, it's like that.
But I don't mind it because it's a very low level heat.
It's mild.
Yeah, but that's
kind of in the background.
The only thing you get. So honestly, I think the Crock-Pot does a good job. This is a Crock-Pot cookbook, but you could have just as easily put the roast in there with some onion, and not even salt and pepper, but some onion, and that's it. And you'd been fine. True. So you'll have to let us know, do you still use a Crock-Pot? I know a lot of people have moved away and they from the Crock-Pot and they use air fryers. I'm still old school and I really love my Crock-Pot.
Well, you stick stuff in there and not worry about it for
hours. You can literally go to work. And if
you don't want your house to burn down, you might want to do that, but people do.
People do. I mean, that's the magic. That's what people say is you leave it all day and then come home and dinner's done. They tell you that all the time. So with or without saying you're leaving the house, that's what is implied, is that you're leaving it all day alone. But I still think they work great. I love a Crock-Pot. But I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.